Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Safa's Unscripted. Yes, I'm back. I've recovered, thank goodness. But yeah, guys, I'm sure the Southern Hemisphere as well as Northern Hemisphere as well will be excited to know that the URC is back, week 12 of 18. Guys, we have some cool fixtures. But before we get
It's
into
tier
it,
one
guys,
rugby,
please,
Brevan. Say it like it
yeah.
is. It's tier one rugby has returned.
Well, if we're gonna say it's tier one rugby, it means Northern Hemisphere rugby is also tier one, because they're
No,
part
it's
of the
tier one because the
tournament.
box are there.
Okay. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share the video to your friends. We really appreciate your support. The channel is growing very nicely. We're so grateful. And yeah, we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep pushing at this, and we really enjoy your feedback. So leave comments down as well. And yeah, let's just get into this now. Say hello, guys. Say hello to our audience. Let them know that you love
Hello,
them.
guys.
Hello, people of the world.
Hello, hello, audience.
Okay. So guys, the URC starts on Friday. There are two games on Friday night. That is a Donald Trump supporter, if I've ever seen one over there. Um, but anyway, let's get to some rugby. Glasgow Warriors start off against Cardiff on Friday night. Guys, I can only see one winner in this game. Glasgow are at home. What are we saying?
Proper beatdown. A proper beatdown. Glasgow by 35 points. No, 36 points. Gotta add some to it. Cardiff shit. Glasgow good. That's end of story.
Are we going to see a De Beer masterclass to maybe narrow that score down a little bit, or you going
He'll
full
give them like
on
three
beatdown?
penalties. He'll keep them in the game for the first like 13 minutes, give them like 2 or 3 penalties, and then that's all she wrote. Beatdown.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
also I'm going the same beatdown, but also I think it's going to be a high scoring game. It's a welcome back to all the teams. Super fresh, worked on all their crooks and crannies, on all their attack, and I bet not a lot of people focused on defense. So I think it's going to be a high scoring game, like a 38-31 type game.
No.
But
42-18. I don't. They're not getting above 20. Cardiff getting above 20 points.
don't disagree with me. That's my prediction. Say your own
No,
nonsense.
no. Listen, your opinion is wrong, Brett. I will force my opinion down your throat. I don't even care. Your opinion is wrong. They're not getting above 20 points. You know how our predictions work.
yeah, but
Okay.
just to take into consideration, do we see these clubs immediately reintroducing their international players, or do you think these international players will get a bit of a break from the Six Nations? What do you think?
I mean,
It depends. It depends who. It depends who the said players are. I think like a tight head prop might get a week's rest. But a guy like a Duan van der Merwe on the wing might not get a rest. You never know. I don't know. I think some might play and some won't.
yeah, the thing is just like this is starting to become business end of the season. Glasgow, no, they aren't safe yet. We spoke about it the previous time we spoke about the URC. The table is very close. Glasgow can lose one game and have a couple of guys below them win games, and they can all of a sudden drop out of the top 8, out of the top 10. So it's all still to play for. These are the games they have to win. I would put out my strongest team, secure the victory against Cardiff, because if you go and slack against Cardiff, maybe like the Ospreys did, you will get spanked. Okay, the Cardiff we take the piss a bit with them, right? But they are not no walkovers. You can't treat them like they're some sort of a joke. They didn't have all the world class players go and play for Wales. They've been a solid team training together, and you can't take them easily. I know Glasgow's playing at home, but play your strong boys. I'm not saying play every single one of them, but don't sit there and field the C team because you're gonna get a beat down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, look, I do think Glasgow Warriors will win this one comfortably. I also can see them putting at least 30, mid 30 points, high 30 points, and Cardiff maybe also getting maybe a stretch 20 points. But I think Glasgow will comfortably take that one. We move on to another game that starts on Friday night at the same time. Ospreys versus Munster. Ospreys are at home. as much as Munster haven't been fantastic this season, I can still see them pulling this one off. I'm not sure about you guys. What you guys thinking?
Well, they've started to pick up their game, right? I think after these last 2 weekends, they gave a decent Zebra team. They put a beating down on them. I don't see them losing against Ospreys. Obviously, it's not tough going away and playing any other team away from home and stuff. But yeah, the Ospreys won't really be a match to Munster. I think they're on good form at the moment, and they'll just continue that. It's not like they had an insane amount of players go and play for Ireland, because most of them are from Leinster. So they'll still field the same team probably that they fielded against the likes of Zebra, and I can't remember who it was the week before that. And they'll still get the victory. So I'm going Munster by 16 points.
Before I say about how many I think Munster's going to win by, do any of you know what an osprey is, or what that logo is? I just thought about it now. I'm trying to picture what it even is.
I don't know. It just looks like one of those Halloween masks.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. Actually, I don't know. If anyone can educate us on what an osprey is, please do so in the comments.
bird.
We would appreciate. I'm guessing it's a bird. It looks like it's got a beak there, I guess.
Yeah, I'm also assuming it's.
Yeah, look, I think Brett, say what you think about the game. What you think's going to happen.
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, I've got Munster. I got Munster to beat the unknown logo team Ospreys by about between 12 and 16 as well, same as casual. Only for the simple reason that I think the last 2 games that Munster played, they were gelling properly. Like, they were very inconsistent previous games, and then now we're starting to see that consistency, that continuity, which for me means that okay, they should be on that same level playing field.
Yeah, no, I think, Munster are going to be a lot better on the day. We did turn into a bit of a bird watching channel there for a second, but we'll try to keep that limited. But yeah, Munster should take this one comfortably. Obviously, Achias Snyman back from injury, he's back in full flow as well. So obviously we know this is his last season for Munster before he goes to Leinster. So he's going to want to give it everything as well. So yeah, I think Munster have got that one comfortably. Then we have on Saturday, the first game on Saturday, it's the Sharks. They play Ulster at Kings Park. Guys, do the Sharks finally find some kind of formula? Eben Etzebeth is back from his injury. We know. I saw something saying there's no excuses for what the Sharks have produced this season. He expects them to front up physically. He expects them to show more passion. He's so grateful for the crowd showing in, week out, and they're not producing the results. So, do we finally see the Sharks starting to build a bit of formula? Obviously, Kitsoff as well, traveling with Ulster. He'll come back to South Africa, play a few games here. What we saying?
Brett, you can.
Yeah, so we know Ulster is not the best traveling side. At home, they are forced to be reckoned with. They're not a great traveling side. And I have some insider knowledge from somebody that's down in Natal that said that in the last 2 weeks, almost everything has changed. They might, maybe not, have got in some other experts of higher level in the South African frame to come and consult for 2 weeks. This is not confirmed. Don't quote me. So I'm going to say that the Sharks are going to win this one quite comfortably. I'm going to say by double digits and a bonus point.
Wow. I let Brett go first. I thought he's going to say Ulster victory because I was going to predict the Sharks victory. But not for the same reason. I didn't hear that inside scoop, obviously. But I've got a feeling the Sharks might go on a little resurgence, especially knowing the big signings are starting to be made for next season. Some of the guys know they need to tighten their bootlaces, pull out their socks, and actually go out and perform. Obviously, I don't even know how long Ulster's been there, in South Africa. that plays a massive role. And I really think the Sharks know it's now or never. With Bongi back, you've got Eben Etzebeth back, you've got the big name signings coming in. Obviously not to play, but that will get the guys to play to a higher standard. So I've got the Sharks to win as well. I wouldn't necessarily say by double digits. I'm going just below it, like literally just below it. 9 points to the Sharks as well.
Brevin, how about you?
Yeah, so look, I think the Sharks, a lot of the Springbok players within that Shark squad will realize there is going to be a squad selected a couple months from now, and they know if it continues the way it's going, it's not going to look good for them, because there are a lot of other players in the Stormers, in the Bulls, even in the Lions that are sticking up their hands saying we want to play in that Springbok squad against Ireland and possibly Portugal as well, and Wales. So the Sharks players will know they have to step this up, and I do think this is a turning corner for them. Maybe it won't be as rampant as we think, but I do think they'll start turning the corner in a way that they will get the victory in this game, and I can see like a 10-point win for the Sharks, purely because I think having Eben back in that side is so important, because if I, for instance, had to have Eben next to me as my lock partner, it immediately makes me 2 times more confident. It just does. So, yeah, I can see the Sharks really winning this one by 10 or more, maybe like maximum 15. But, yeah, Sharks, I think,
and
will
also,
take this.
just to add to it, right? So it's not like we're trying to be biased with it, because the past couple of weekends, Ulster hasn't been performing to the best. I mean, look, who did they play the previous time? Was it against, might have been Ospreys, Scarlets, Cardiff, one of those teams at the bottom. They played at home, scraped over the line at the end. Like, I haven't been fully convinced by Ulster, and for them to go on the road and play against the Sharks that we feel might be a bit more fired up, it would be more, in my opinion, a surprise if Ulster go there and get a victory now, even though the Sharks have been absolutely horrific.
You think the Sharks are going to be like the Italian fans and brag about not being lost?
No, because they know they were held to a higher standard from the start.
Yeah, I think everyone expected so much more from the Sharks this season, and it just didn't deliver. So, but we are Saffers. We open our mouths on the regular. We will brag when we win. So you never know.
They can still
Sharks,
take a lot of positives from the tournament. If they end strong, get a couple of victories, pull off a couple of upsets, even though they will still end outside the top 10, for instance, they can still look at the season at the end and take some real positives from it into the next season. So it's not all doom and gloom out there, but they have to fix something.
You're saying they can take positives going forward? Because I'm trying to think back at the season thus far, and I'm trying to think of one positive, and I think the only positive I can see is they didn't leave a game with scoring 0 points. So that's like the only.
Yeah. No. It's purely just going forward. They can, like, it's been disappointing. Even if they finish strong, they'll still say it was a disappointing season. But there will be positives to take from it if they can somehow get a bit of form and get some results for the rest of the games.
Yeah. Next up on Saturday, it's Scarlets versus Benetton. Scarlets being at home. I still see Benetton being too much. I mean, I'm sure Benetton will throw. I mean, we saw some of the Benetton stars in the Six Nations, and boy, they can play. So I think Benetton will throw their stars back in straight away, because we know Benetton will want to qualify for the top 8. They want to be in the playoffs. So I can see Benetton, even though they're away from home, I can see them winning this one very comfortably. I don't know about you, Brett. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I do actually. I feel that continuity of the core group from that Italian side in the Benetton side. I agree. I think they're going to throw them all back in together, and they are hungry for rugby. They want to keep this winning momentum going forward as individuals. And I think they would have told the coaches, listen, put me in, sir. And thus, I agree. I think it's going to be a quite convincing win from Benetton. I'm also going bonus point win for Benetton. Let's say by 18.
Yeah, I agree with literally everything that Brett just said. I don't like this podcast. I'm agreeing with Brett too many times now. Yeah, Benetton, they'll hammer them. Let's not deep it too much. Scarlet's not good. Benetton good. Benetton win.
I think so. Yeah, I can see Benetton really cruising this one. Bonus point and a bit of a hammering. Next up, we have your guys' side. They are back in Cape Town against Edinburgh. The Stormers take on Edinburgh. Oh, guys, I think the Stormers will want to prove a point after their last game. Obviously, I'm not going to be that guy that reminds the game. We all know who it was. But the Stormers will want to prove a point, and I can see them, as much as Edinburgh have some stars in their side, I think going down to an angry Stormers side in Cape Town can be very dangerous for some. I mean, I found that out myself as a Bulls fan. So, yeah, I think the Stormers are going to absolutely destroy Edinburgh, and I think it's going to be about 20
blood.
plus.
I want blood. I want them in the ICU. I want a Chiva Daimani masterclass. We're not anything under a 39-point win is a loss. I want to beat them so far to give us like 3 bonus points. They're not getting anything from this. Edinburgh has had a leaky defense. They've not looked good in attack. They are traveling to us. They have none of their stars. Dobbers is coming out for blood. Willemse, Mani Lubbock, Achiva Daimani, Evan Roos. Yeah, see you later. Thank you very much. 39 points to the Stormers.
Yeah, through the grapevine again, I heard that we finally might have Frans Malherbe back, which would me, obviously, my inner child very excited. But we expected that the last game too, and it didn't happen. So I'm not going to hold my breath on that thought. But yes, I think it's going to be, for some reason, my gut tells me that I'm going to be frustrated. Stormers are still going to win, but it's going to be an ugly win. Like maybe by 7 or 8 point win, but ugly. Like being behind 3 times in the game, then regain the lead, that type of thing. But ended up winning the game. So I'm going Stormers by, let's say 7. But I think it's going to be scrappy for some reason.
The thing is, I don't know if I can see Edinburgh after Scotland just played a physical game against Ireland. I don't know if they will chuck in a bunch of those Scottish players to travel all the way to South Africa after just playing a test match now against Ireland. If that is the case, and they don't send their full strength side, I think Casual Bias is a very solid call in the fact that they will get dominated. I mean, a Stormers side filled with quality players that play for Springboks and some that should be playing for the Springboks. It could be a long day, but at the same time, I can see what Brett's saying because, you know, sometimes to find that confidence, you kind of have to grind out wins in a way. There's sometimes where you go through a bit of a patch where it's you play bad but you win, and I can see the Stormers being that type of team as well. But realistically, if I'm going to listen to my heart, I think the Stormers will win this one by 20 plus. I do think the Stormers are angry. I think they will be hungry for a bonus point. They will be hungry to be up there, top 4 even. So yeah, I'm going to say Stormers are going to absolutely.
Two things, right? You know, when we predict the Boks and the Stormers, we don't predict with our head. We predict with our emotions. Okay? You can't be being here doing predictions for the Stormers, being level-headed. What do you think this is?
Do you know what?
Rugby unscripted. This is Safa's unscripted. You back your team all the way. Okay?
You know what?
And secondly, we went to the Northampton Saints Arena and absolutely obliterated them with scrappy team. Like none of our real boys really played. We had Achiva Daimani on the wing. Okay, so and Northampton Saints, they are first in the Prem. Okay, now I know they didn't have the England stars. England doesn't have stars, so what am I even talking about? But we are going to obliterate this Edinburgh team. I will hear nothing else under 30 points win. Nothing.
Can I tell you what started to get me? Every time I watch a prediction from a content creator on social media, it doesn't matter who that team plays against, and that person supports that team. They will say, I'm backing my team. My team's going to win by so much. Like, it's every single content creator now out there. Their predictions for me have become completely irrelevant. Like, I don't even bother watching anymore because I know what they're going to say. They're going to say, for example, if the Bulls are playing against the Cheetahs and Rich Breven, for example, he would say Bulls are going to win by this much. Don't even think about it. And then if the Bulls are playing against a World 15 combined side, but the Bulls are putting out their under 21s, they're going to say Bulls are going to win by so much. And I'm starting to. It's a trend now because every single content creator is doing it.
I'm not that delusional, I swear.
I know.
They're following the casual bias rugby format.
Yeah, but everybody else is, and it just gets me. Like, be realistic. Like in New Zealand, for example, somebody said that the Crusaders, they 0 from 4, but they're predicting, because they're a Crusaders fan, they're predicting that the Crusaders are going to win with a bonus point try. I mean, just stop it. So that's my thought process.
Gotta love it.
Level-headed
Anyway.
is scary.
Yeah. So then, guys, I'll low taper fade. If anyone understood that, yeah, sorry.
That's very much a high taper.
Yeah, no, it's just whatever. Anyway, so next up we have Connacht versus the Lions. Connacht being at home. I'm not saying the way you say it, but Connacht. It's got a ch in it. So Connacht versus the Lions. Connacht being at home. As we all know, the Lions are, they're pretty good this season. They'll want that playoff spot. But the thing is, I can't see them winning this game. I'm sorry, Lions. I just can't see you guys winning there in Ireland against Connacht. So, unfortunately, I'm going to say Connacht are going to win this one, but I think Connacht will win this one by 4 or 5 points. And it saddens me to say that, but I just don't know if the Lions can travel to Ireland and win that game.
Well, it all comes down to who Connacht feels, in my opinion. If they feel like a second string team, the Lions, obviously, they've got good momentum behind them. I think they want to kind of break that voodoo over us where it's like the South African teams doesn't travel well. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions pull one through, but if Connacht fields a pretty decent team, I think it will be a close game either way, whether they field a strong or a weaker team. So I'll go Connacht to win it by about 3 points, like literally at the death.
Well, I can tell you now that it's going to be a Lions victory because we're going to see a Henk van Beek masterclass. The Oak is injury-free. He's ready. He's hungry. He wants that Bok number 13 jersey. It's going to be a Lions victory by 5 points. You can take that to the bank. That's going to happen.
I like that. Do you think Henk van Beek makes his debut for the Boks this year?
Yes, he does, for sure.
Outside of the Wales game, I'm not counting the Wales game as a cap.
Okay, all Portugal.
No, because the Wales team will be so rotated because the main guys will still be playing in the URC.
But also that Portugal game is literally going to be for depth. Let's be honest. I don't see the stars playing that maybe a few, but I still think Henk van Beek is good enough to make it. Even in that Irish 23 in the Springbok side that faces Ireland, I could see him coming off the bench. Even maybe he's not there to start just yet, but I can see him coming off the bench. I think he'll get when we go to the Northern Hemisphere. I still think. We know we're definitely playing England and Scotland. We'll probably end up playing Italy or France. I still can see Henk van Beek getting a start there even. So, yeah, I think this is the year where he really cements his spot in the squad and further on his starting position as well. So that will be exciting to see for sure.
I think he comes off the bench for that Portugal game. Won't play the Wales test because I don't think it's a test match. It doesn't fall under the test schedule, so I don't think it counts as a test.
I think it
I'm-
still does.
I might be-
I think.
But what I
Yeah.
do think is all 4 games in November, Henku starts all 4 of those.
Wow.
Well,
Above Jesse and
Yep. Jesse doesn't go
It's not-
to
it's not a-
that's when the Japanese league is on in the middle of the season. He doesn't go on tour at the end of the year.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't even think about that. I forgot.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But isn't that only for like usually for the last game? Usually all of our guys are only back when we play England, which is like usually the last game, right?
yeah.
Because if you think of the likes of Colby, he can't play against England usually, but he played against Italy the previous time, which was also at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So maybe Ingu gets the last 2 games. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
We'll
Well,
come back to this.
So next up, my team, the Bulls, they take on the Dragons. Dragons being the home side. The Bulls should win this realistically. Do I think it's going to be a convincing win? No, I don't, because I think the Bulls are hung over that Stormers win. I think they
Been
are.
long enough, Brevan. Surely.
No. I kid you not, and it's starting to bug me a tiny bit. The Bulls are still posting about that Stormers game, and that bugs me a little bit because it's in the past, it's over, move on, you know? That's just my mentality. I don't know how they see it. I'm sure the team will have the same mentality. I'm not stupid, but I think just trying to rev this game up against the Stormers after it happened such a long time ago, I think it's done now. And you have to go and do it again.
Brevan, you guys have a couple of games on the road now, right? So I'm pretty sure you still sent your full strength team up.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So I do think we'll beat the Dragons. But like when we think of the Dragons, we think the Bulls should beat them by 20 plus. I can see the Bulls winning it by 10 plus. I don't see them
Yeah, I'm going Bulls by 12.
absolutely. Yeah. So that's just my thought process. Obviously, it's going to be about 7:30 at night there in Wales, because it's a 9:30 kickoff South African time. So it's a late game in Wales. The rain could be there, it could be a factor. It could be cold. Obviously, we know those artificial pitches. I mean, it's just one of those games where if you're not careful, you could even lose the game. So I am going to say the Bulls are going to win, but I think it will be about a 10 to 12 point gap. What do you say, Brett?
I'm nervous for the Bulls on this one because think back to the Rainbow Cup. Bulls traveled, they won the Rainbow Cup or the South African, whatever we called it, went over to Italy and lost to a very poor Benetton side. Then they came back. Then every single time after that they traveled, they had shocking performances. I think last year you guys 3 games, you won 1 game overseas. And it was your last game because you finally adapted to the weather. Also, the Bulls come from a very hot 35 degree Celsius Pretoria, and now they're going to a -5 degree Wales, middle of winter. And on the artificial pitches. I can't see the Bulls running away with a win. They are the team with the most momentum currently. They are the team with of the 2 sides, the most physical pack. But I think it's going to be very close, like maybe a 3-point win to the winner. And I'm not going to say who because I just don't feel the Bulls are a good traveling side on their first game. Hopefully they've got rid of those kinks, cricks and crannies, whatever, and they can pull it off. But I'm saying it's a 3 to 5 point margin to the winner.
Yeah, look, the
I mean
Bulls,
that's fair, but they have a bit more time than usually. Like usually you'd play and then travel and then you play the next weekend up north. Like they had some time to rest. I don't know when they traveled up north, but I think they have probably a climate. What do you call it? Acclimatized. Yeah, a bit better than previously. So I can't see the Bulls having just a narrow victory, but I don't think it will be a convincing performance. So I can agree with you on to that extent. But I'm going Bulls by 12 points. I just think overall they are strong enough with their strong guys. I think they'll take some of that momentum that they had with the Stormers. Yeah, maybe they're still posting about it a bit, and maybe it's still playing on the mind a bit. But overall, I still think the momentum will carry them over the line against this terrible Dragons team. Dragons have only beaten the Sharks or drawn against the Sharks. I will not have them beat the Bulls, who beat the Stormers.
Yeah, look, like Brett says, the Bulls, their first game on a traveling tour, they do tend to struggle. But I think this season, the Bulls did travel a bit better in that first tour. They got 2 wins, so 2 out of 4, which is better than what they got before. So tables could turn, but bearing in mind they do have Leinster away next weekend. So do they field their strongest side, maybe risking injuries going into that Leinster game? We can talk about that another time. It's just a thought for everyone to think about. But then we end up with the.
I don't think you rest your strongest players, especially after they've already had a couple of weeks off. They want to have some game time before going into that Leinster game. Like if this was 2 weekends in a row that they've played, they've had 2 weekends off now. If they have another one off, that's 3 weekends off going to play against the Leinster side that has been playing rugby. I don't think they do that.
Okay, fair play. Then last game of the weekend, we have Zebre versus Leinster. Zebre being the home side. Look, obviously, the Leinster will not send their strongest side to this game. As we all know, the Irish have just won the Six Nations. They'll all still be drinking their Guinnesses throughout the week. That's how it's going to go. So, yeah, I think Leinster will still win this one, even though they're going to send a weaker side. And I can see them winning it by 15 points. I think that Leinster side, from academy all the way up to senior side, is just so well drilled that I can't see another outcome of Leinster losing. Casual, you go first this time.
I fully agree. Even though Leinster send their sixth best team, they don't lose this game to Zebre. Zebre has still got a couple of Italian players. They lost to Munster quite easily, and I think Leinster overall is just way better than Munster. So I can't see Zebre. They'll maybe put up a bit of a fight because they have that home ground. But Leinster's experienced enough, even sending the young guys have experience when it comes to these games to still get them over the line. And that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't see them smashing Zebre, but it won't be a tight game. Maybe Leinster by 13 points or 12 points, whatever.
Yeah, what would a Sappers Unscripted podcast be without Brett saying something extremely crazy? I'm going for a draw, and I'll tell you why.
Gotta have that draw call.
I honestly think that that this Zebre side, there is a big game in them somewhere, and if they just need that one game to gel and where everything goes right. And I'm hoping it's against a weakened Leinster side, just to stir things up a bit in the URC. So therefore, I can't see them winning. So the closest they'll come to winning is a draw.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great for the Bulls, because if the Bulls can win against the Dragons and Leinster get a draw, it puts us on the top and it cements our place at the top. So I'll take that. So I'm going to back Brett on that one and hope he's correct. But last thoughts, guys. Anything you want to add before we close off the pod? Are you excited that URC's back? You keen?
Yeah, just excited to see our boys running out on the field again. Obviously, it's starting to get closer and closer now for that tour against Ireland. We just saw Ireland winning the Six Nations. So it will really, it will be great to see our boys fired up to play for positions into that Springbok squad that we could potentially see against Ireland. So it felt like up and down, a weekend of URC, 2 weekends without it, a weekend with it, 2 weekends without it. I'm just glad we're seeing our boys on a week in, week out basis now for the next couple of weeks, which is very exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited that the winner of the 20 Nations players are back in action. Although it's sad to see the winner of the Six Nations players back in action too, but I'm very excited to see the winners of the 20 Nations back in action. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, well, like it says, please like, subscribe. We appreciate your feedback. Roast us in the comments if you will. We know Brett is immune to it at this point. So yeah, please guys, just keep supporting us, and we will keep providing you with content. Whether it's great, it will always be great, but you guys might not think so, but we think so. So please guys, like, subscribe, and that is out for this pod. And thank you so much. Cheers.
Sayonara.